Hi everyone, Scott Nave from the University of New Mexico here. I'm up here in Santa Fe this summer, and tonight is opening night for Rimsky-Korsakov's The Golden Cockerel that I'm doing with the Santa Fe Opera. So I thought I would share with you a few of the instruments that I'm playing in Act 2 of the opera, and I have three instruments that I've picked that I think work really well for specific situations with what's going on in the pit and in this particular hall. I do have to say that if we get interrupted here by a speaker, I apologize, but they're calling people to the stage all the time and I can't turn that speaker off. So, but in the second act, the first tambourine I use is a 12-inch. It's a chromium 25 bronze mix. And the thing I like about this tambourine is the clarity and the fact that it, I believe, mixes really well with the snare drum that's being used. And we have sort of an interlocking part that happens. So it's a rhythmically fairly simple part, fairly soft, and so I think the single row works, but it gives, the 12-inch gives me a little bit more body. And it's not quite as dominant as, say, the double row. So this works quite well for this particular situation. And it's a part that I'm playing, and the snare drum is in between these notes, and so typically it works, for us it works really well. So I've really loved playing this. The other thing I like about this instrument is if you have really long rolls to play, you have a little bit more surface area to kind of get that. So it's a wonderful instrument to use. The other two instruments are from the S3 series, and they are the single row and the double row, so the S3TS and the S3TD. And the thing that I love about these tambourines is how well they blend with the group. I typically use them in softer sections with the aged brass and the lighter cherry shell. I find that you really blend into the sound quite well. A lot of times, if with certain instruments, the tambourine kind of sits on top, and I feel I kind of have to back off quite a bit so that I don't play too loud. And in both of these situations, at least in the first situation, when I'm using the single row instrument, it really blends well, and I can actually play out a little bit because it's really a chamber group that's playing with during that part of the act. So just a little excerpt from that part. And this instrument, the other thing I really like is using this instrument with the chamber groups, because again, I think it blends, it sort of gets inside the sound of everyone. It's dry enough, there's enough presence, and the lightness of the instrument blends really well with groups. So I love using this instrument. I've also found that when I practice, just because they're not quite as strong and as loud as some of the other instruments, it's better on my ears. So I think it's a wonderful instrument to use when I'm, practicing some techniques and things like that. The other instrument that I'm using in the second act is the same instrument, but with 2 rows of jingles. And I do this of the brass enter, and there's more going on stage, and I just need a little bit more presence. I need a little bit more volume, and this tends to work really well. So, but again, the same thing, this sound, I think blends really well with the group. And it makes it very easy, and it makes it comfortable for me just to play and not feel like I'm constantly holding back and trying to mute the tambourine. It fits inside everybody's sound really well, and I've had a couple people comment on that. So those are just 3 instruments that I'm using tonight. It's opening night. It's very exciting, and yeah, I look forward to playing tonight and seeing you guys soon. Take care.